Wow, public speaking can really make a person thirsty. Clearly, everyone has to drink water in order to survive. Without water, one will become dehydrated, and this will eventually lead to serious health problems, even death. But what happens if the only water available is contaminated with harmful chemicals or deadly organisms? Since everyone needs water to survive, it must not only be safe to drink, but also be stored in an environmentally friendly way. Many water storage containers are harmful to humans as well as to the environment when discarded. A municipal water facility is not always available when and where the water is needed. Today, we will look at a reasonable and ready solution to these problems. We will see how this problem solver can be used. In fact, we will see filtered, undrinkable water get transformed into some of the best water ever tasted. What marvelous contraption can do all these things? It is rightfully called the lifesaver bottle. My thesis states, although it may seem utterly impossible, there is a quick and effective way to make drinking water clean, safe, and accessible to people all around the world. This way for drinking water to be made so readily available should be put into action, because it is friendly to the environment, versatile, and millions of lives can be saved. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, states that one always needs to be sure of keeping an emergency water supply, even if this means filling a particular room with unsightly water bottles. However, what if there is a totally unexpected disaster and you are caught without an emergency water supply? It is then suggested that rainwater, ponds, lakes, rivers, and any other natural water sources are good for drinking from. But what if there is danger of radioactivity in the rain, like in Japan's recent power plant accident? What if the lakes, ponds, rivers, and other bodies of water are contaminated with pathogenic organisms? This is where the lifesaver bottle, with its ultrafiltration system, comes in. The London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine conducted tests on this bottle and found that no organisms escape the filters. This means that one can even drink flood water after filtering it through this remarkable bottle. One should also consider other contaminants in the water as well, however, such as pharmaceuticals and pesticides. Remarkably, there is no reason to worry about these, because the activated carbon filter of the lifesaver bottle filters these out. Thankfully, these bottles were available during Japan's recent power plant accident, and even the radioactive isotopes were able to be filtered out of the water, rendering the drinking water safe for millions of Japanese. Let's continue looking at this bottle's marvelous life-saving abilities by going to a place where it is virtually impossible to keep an emergency water supply. Let's go to Haiti. Here is a picture taken from Operation Blessing International showing the kind of water that many Haitians drink every day. A charitable person might propose, well, let's send them some bottled water. All right then, we will send hundreds of tractor-trailer trucks filled with plastic bottles. Unfortunately, only about 850 bottles of water can fit into one truck. Putting this into context, a family of 4 who drinks just 14 gallons of water for 1 week of clean drinking water would need almost a whole truckload of water bottles per year. But this is just one family out of one village, and one village out of a nation. As one can see, this is a huge problem. Remarkably, just one lifesaver bottle, which is smaller than a gallon-sized jug, can filter up to 1,056 gallons of water, and this can be repeated multiple times by a simple and inexpensive filter change. The amount of fuel used by trucks carrying water bottles to the Haitians can be significantly reduced, and the Haitians will still get the same amount of water that they need. We've been considering Haiti, but similar situations exist across the globe. Say, for instance, a tidal wave hits Indonesia, polluting and cutting off water supplies for weeks. Problems similar to these contribute to the alarming statistics that worldwide, a child dies every 20 seconds due to lack of clean water. At the end of one day, then, 4,320 children have died due to water-related diseases. Could this child be next? Just one lifesaver bottle can save multitudes of people. As we move on, let's take a look through this window into the future. Here we see me engulfed in plastic bottles. Okay, I'll admit, this is a little exaggerated, but many landfills actually look like this. So, what's the big deal about throwing plastic bottles into a landfill? Well, nearly every day, in the US alone, nearly 60 million plastic bottles enter landfills. At the end of 1 year then, 2,190,000,000 plastic bottles are sitting, waiting to decay. Scientists believe that it takes 2,000 to 3,000 years for just one plastic bottle to decompose. While nobody knows for sure, one can be certain that with figures like 2,000 to 3,000 years, it takes a very long time. Think of the land being used for landfills that could be used for housing, agriculture, and numerous other things. Using a lifesaver bottle, one can cut back on the enormous amount of trash that is being thrown into landfills. Not only does this bottle cut back on a huge amount of trash, it is also BPA free. BPA is a toxic chemical that has been proven to cause birth defects and brain defects. Since the lifesaver bottle is BPA free, one does not have to worry about harming himself with a toxin. Additionally, every part of this bottle is completely recyclable. These are essential reasons as to why the lifesaver bottle should be used to help us, as well as our environment. As we dive deeper into the deluge, let's see why the lifesaver bottle should be used instead of any other water filtration device. Here is a chart made to compare the lifesaver bottle with some of its main competitors: Catadyne, MSR Miniworks EX, the Life Straw, and Camelback. Now, let's take a look at this first illustration, which shows the pore size of the filters. All these competitors have a pore size which is greater than 100 nanometers. What does this mean? Well, the smallest virus known is about 20 nanometers in diameter, while the smallest bacterium is about the same. So any one of these pathogens that is smaller than 100 nanometers is going to escape the filters. Remarkably, the lifesaver bottle has a trumping 16 nanometer filter pore size, so no small organisms can fit through. Additionally, the lifesaver bottle is the only product that filters all cysts, parasites, and bacterium out of the water without the use of chemicals. Also, the lifesaver bottle continues to filter water even if this water has a high turbidity. These reasons, and many more, show why the lifesaver bottle should be used instead of any other water filtration device. Finally, let's see the lifesaver bottle turn filthy water clean. Here is a sample of disgusting water. And in order to make it drinkable, one must simply unscrew the base of the bottle and pour the water in. Then one can proceed to give it a few pumps. And once the teat is popped, out will come clean, sterile, drinkable water. Delicious. We have now seen some of the reasons why having clean drinking water is so important, and what can be done to water that isn't clean. We have seen that the lifesaver bottle is a safe and eco-friendly solution to plastic bottles. We have seen how it can be beneficial for millions, from hikers to soldiers. And we have even personally witnessed this lifesaver bottle turn filthy water clean. If one decides he wants to purchase one of these desirable inventions, he may simply visit the website www.lifesaversystems.com.